We are back.
We are
Back in person for a few weeks before I go back to Butler.
I'm so sad.
Very sad.
I know.
I know.
We're gonna only be in person for a little longer and then back to Zoom.
Sad. Yes. Well, I mean, we're on Zoom anyway, recording it. But yeah. Anyway, moving on. I'm Miranda.
I'm Shivani. And we are far from normal.
Did we write down episode 55?
Episode
There we
55, yeah.
As promised, we're doing like a switch up interview. Last week I did marketing, and this week Shivani's going to talk to us a little bit about finance. Yeah. I'll start into questions. So basically, I'm going to give you a general question like I did last week. Why finance?
Why finance?
Why finance?
Yeah, so we covered a little bit of this in like the first of our business series episodes, but basically, I have a bunch of family members who are in finance, and so they were super excited about like inducting me into the family business. So they showed me around, and what I was exposed to mostly had to do with private wealth management and like financial advisory sort of thing, and helping people plan for retirements and stuff like that. So I didn't know if I wanted to do that at first, so I definitely was like a little opposed to it at first, just because my family's doing it, and I felt like I was like, it was something I had to do, so it wasn't really my choice. So I definitely like explored my options a bit before settling with finance. I chose finance in the end because I already had my foot in the door, and I couldn't really find anything else I really liked, and I could see myself doing something with finance just because I understood it more than I understood anything else. And I saw there's a lot of opportunities within finance that I feel like a lot of people don't know about. And I definitely didn't know about until recently when I actually started getting serious about finance. So that's where I am with it right now.
I feel like a lot of people see finance as like just math. And I was going to ask you kind of to tell us what you enjoy about it, or like what kind of experience you've gotten from the classes, the job that you had. Kind of give us some sort of overview about the major.
Yeah, so a lot of people think, like banking with finance, or like maybe stocks and trading and stuff like that, when you can do a lot with a finance major. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't have all the experience to like just tell you everything about finance. Like I honestly don't know what I want to do exactly with my finance major, because there's just so much I could do with it, and so many paths I could go down. And it's kind of like just figuring out if you want to be. Oh, I should probably clarify this. Like, if you're getting into finance, you can be more of a social person and interact with a lot of people and do a lot of communication and talking with people to like develop strategies and stuff like that. That's like one side of finance, and the other side is just like working on your own and doing everything on your own and figuring out, evaluating like the financial conditions of a business or a company by yourself and not really communicating. So there's more of like a communicative aspect and like another aspect where you just, if you don't like communicating with people, you can just do that, which is more like accounting and stuff like that. So in the finance classes I've taken so far, I've only really taken like a couple accounting classes and economics or economics. I don't know how people say that. And I've also taken some, just some other finance classes. I've taken like an intro to finance class, and then two accounting classes, and then all of my economics classes. And that's kind of what you would need to get started, to figure out where you want to go. There's also like real estate, and you can also focus on just accounting specifically. Finance is similar to accounting, but it's not. It focuses more on like managing an investment. So it's a little bit more. It focuses on managing an investment. I don't know how to explain it better than that, really. But yeah, I guess you asked what I liked. What I liked. Well, I guess my expertise is more within like private wealth management, and I like the aspect of like helping people get a financial education, because it's kind of insane to me how like there's a lot of people just that don't understand it or don't have access to it and don't really know what they're doing. They're just like, oh, I'll just put it in the bank to save, and like, I'll let it, compile and accumulate, compile. My gosh, words. Accumulate. But like, you're not going to get very far with that if you just have it in the bank. Like with the, with the amount of money that you get back from the bank, you are not going to have enough for retirement. So you definitely have to diversify your portfolio and
Scary.
like, you know, cuz like yeah, if you just put it in the bank, you're not going to be able to retire with a sufficient amount of money. Like you will probably need to get on like Medicaid or something. I don't know.
Oh, that's
Um
scary. I didn't know that.
yeah, you can't. Yeah, because you just won't, especially with like the how the economy is working now and like inflation and stuff like that. And like you can't really predict the future, so you always have to like shoot above what you think you need.
Okay.
So
That's
that's
fair.
so like if you think you're gonna be fine with $1 million, you're probably gonna want to save $2 million because the economy can change,
Yeah.
and you want to have more than you need because why would you want to have less than you need? You know.
Right.
But yeah, and there's also like insurance. I deal with a lot of insurance, and I've dealt with like a lot of like retirement planning and diversifying portfolios and figuring out how to help people get rid of their debt and how to help people figure out how they can like raise their income and stuff like that. So that's where my area of expertise is, and I specifically like that because I feel like I'm giving back to people directly. Whereas like all the other careers, they do give back to people directly, and they all like contribute to like stimulating the economy. But like I like that specific role just because I get to talk to people too, and also I feel like I'm better at like communicating with people and maybe like relating a little bit more than the more technical aspects
Yeah.
of like risk analysis and like financial modeling and figuring out like the debt and revenue and costs and stuff like that, which is all very interesting. But like I like people more, like
Yeah.
communicating with people
Yeah.
more. So that's my favorite.
Okay. Cool. We could probably do like just an episode based on like diversifying the portfolio. So I'll wait to ask you questions about that. Or I can ask you questions, up to you. But I was gonna ask, like, this is something I've noticed myself doing, and I was curious. Have your like political opinions changed by learning more about the economy and like finance and all that stuff?
That's a good question. I think I just have like a better understanding of how like everything works now. So like kind of. And like I guess I've like since I've gotten into finance, I've become like a little more conservative, I think.
Mhm.
Which like I guess that makes sense because you're like looking at how everything works and
Right.
you're seeing how every role has like its own like reason and it has to be there and you can't just like throw money somewhere else because you'll be throwing off other like functions in the economy, like
Yeah.
if that makes any sense. So like just seeing how it all works together has definitely made me realize that you can't just like make careless decisions and be like, oh, we need to help these people in like a different country, but like if you take away money from this aspect of the economy, then you're hurting our
And then,
people, and then when you're trying to help other people, so it's just like
yeah.
yeah, it's definitely changed my views in that
Mhm.
sense. So like it's more complicated than it
It is.
looks.
It is. Everything is so complicated
Yeah,
because
and
yeah.
prior to that, I was just like, let's help everybody, but you can't.
Yeah. Right.
You can't.
This is like a question that we've had debates about at Butler. And obviously it's hard to pinpick which one is more important, but if you had to, would you say microeconomics or macroeconomics is more important?
I
I
don't
didn't prepare her
know.
for this question.
I feel like I mean, I guess the cop out answer would be just like they're both important, but like I mean, you would need to go micro before you go macro.
Yeah.
So micro.
Okay.
So like I mean, you would need to understand how everything works at like the root, like the before you take it all bigger because I
Wide
think
scale, yeah.
right yeah wider scale. So definitely, I mean that's why kind of why I'm in private wealth management
Right.
because I'm helping people directly rather than helping the companies.
Mhm.
Because like if you can help the people, then you help everything
You
else.
stimulate the
Yeah,
economy,
you
yeah.
stimulate the economy and you solve a lot of problems by working
Yeah.
down there at the roots. I
Yeah.
hope that made sense.
No, it did. Yeah. That's kind of that makes sense.
Mm.
Yep. I don't have a response to that. I'm sorry.
No, you're
Um,
good.
so, well, I guess we'll talk about portfolios in a different episode. Should I?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
That's it. I could probably spend a lot of time on
Okay.
that. And honestly, I probably couldn't give you very much because it's a very case by case basis. Like you would need to look at like an
Mhm.
individual or family's find it financial like condition basically,
Yeah.
and then evaluate what to do from there. So then it's
Okay.
different for
Yeah.
everyone. But and
Cool.
their goals and stuff.
Yeah. It's so finance. I'll try to actually redirect my questions.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, you're
They're a
fine.
little over the place. I am taking finance when I'm abroad. how do you think, like, it's US finance, right, that you're taking? Or do you think it works universally?
It just depends on what you want to focus on, really, because like you could get into international finance, and that's like super cool because you get to look at all how like finance works in different like globally, and that's like a path you could go down if you want
Okay.
to. There's like there's different types of finance, so, like personal finance, there's public finance, there's corporate finance, and then there's like international finance, and so yeah, taking finance in a different country might be different than learning
Yeah.
about it here. Well, it will be different, not might be different. It will be different, because like economies are different and
Yeah.
so function differently.
Do you think, like, globalization, I mean, obviously globalization makes it more similar, but, like, how different do you think it'd be? I guess you probably don't know.
Yeah, because I haven't really taken an international finance class, but I can tell you from like a different class I've taken, like like the society. I feel like influences how the market functions. So
Uh-huh.
like, I watched this like I think we talked about this earlier, but like I watched a film um about like just Chinese workers versus like American
Mhm.
workers, and seeing how like their society functioned and like what their values were really influenced how they like worked. Like I guess the Chinese workers worked as hard as they could, even when they knew that they weren't going to get like a high pay. Like
Right.
it's just like within their culture and their values and their
Motivation.
beliefs that hard work is like something that you just do
Value. Yeah.
value, and something that's like super high on their priority list. Whereas like the US workers, they would try to find a way out. They would try to find a way to like, they are very opinionated, and they're very like are open and want to voice all their struggles and things. Whereas like maybe in the East they don't do that as much. So that could be a positive or a negative
Mhm.
depending on how you look at it. Um yeah, so like it would be, to answer your question, it would be slightly, not slightly, it could be very different
Yeah.
based on where you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't um I this is more ethical and less financial, but it
Mm,
is a financial question. So you're talking about, like, China versus US, right?
mhm.
So, like, we have the ethical question of, like, those sweatshops in different countries, but it does help the economies grow. Do you think, like, is there a balance to that, or would you say we should focus more on the ethical, or we should let them do what they can to help their economy?
I think this is like a subjective question,
Mhm.
honestly. For me, I would want to say more ethical, just because I feel like we've done enough work with like the economy. Like now it's time to like switch things up. Like I think we need to be working on like saving the environment and making sure it's like it's not just about money and growing
Yeah.
capital and stuff like that. Like some of it you can keep some of that, but I think it definitely needs to be pivoted toward more of a, like a sustainable type of mission, and
Yeah.
like a greener and a more um yeah, I think we need to be helping the public more. Like there's definitely things that companies could be doing to give back to the public,
Mhm.
but are not doing because they have other agendas.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it depends on who you ask. I mean, I think more
Yeah.
ethical,
Do you
obviously.
think the US or, like, US companies have more responsibility since we are economically, like, ahead of a lot of countries?
More responsible?
Like, we're more responsible to being ethical than, like, say, like, India or, like, a third world country?
I mean, honestly, I think India could be doing it too.
Okay.
Like, I think every country should have hold some responsibility. I don't think it should just be one country.
Okay.
But like, I mean, yeah, I just think in general we just need to be more giving back. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's very naive way of looking at it,
It's
but like, yeah.
I mean, it's fair, like, yeah, it's fair. Um, I'm running long questions, I apologize,
No,
but,
you're good. You're good.
um so, like, you've talked about a little bit, and I think we talked about this in the marketing episode and even the business 101, like, finance majors having a different personality type aspect or, like, more rigid kind of description is what I feel like I've gotten from you, and I was hoping you could elaborate on that.
Okay, this is just a really like subjective personal thing that I've
Okay,
noticed. So I'm not really sure if anyone else has noticed this or
okay.
it's just all in my head. But
Mhm.
like I've like attended a lot of like, networking events and like recruitment events. And I even went to like a marketing like recruitment event because I thought I wanted to get into marketing and I wanted to like see my options and stuff like
Mhm.
that. I've just noticed like big differences and how like people within these majors like hold themselves. I've mostly just like evaluated like marketing majors and finance majors because that's what the most I'm familiar with, and also
Gotcha.
Miranda's a marketing major, so super cool. But I noticed that like marketing majors they tend to focus a little bit more on like um, creativity. Well, I mean,
Uh-huh.
it is creativity. Like it's a very creative major. Like you have to be creative. But like you can see it in like the way they act, really. Like you can see it in the way they dress. Whereas like you maybe you'd have like a more like you're the way that you dress is more creative if that makes any sense. Like maybe you'd
Mhm.
have like a really nice colored shirt and then like you'd pair it with like a really pretty necklace and then you'd pair it with like earrings that match the necklace and then like a blazer just to like top it all off. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but that compared to like a finance major where it's more like black and white what you can do. Like it's like there's industry standards and you have to follow those industry standards. I think that's partly just because it's so competitive that you have to like make yourself stand out and be like the most professional you can be
Okay.
and like you know companies are like looking for like the best of the best basically. So like there's like standards for that and like, maybe like their standards are like someone who has and like maybe they have like a blazer but then like maybe a black shirt and it's all like very I don't know it feels very black and white to me and very rigid and very structured because there's not much room to make a mistake if that makes any sense but um yeah they're definitely more structured I feel like as a finance
Yeah.
major just like their personality too like everything is planned out like I've noticed that like a lot of um the people who like want to like have really high goals for themselves who are finance majors they like when they have to like attend a Zoom meeting they get like the questions in advance and they will write out the answers
Oh wow.
and they will like say the answers word for word and that's really hard sometimes because you want to be authentic but you also want to sound professional and sometimes it sounds a little robotic sometimes which I think is like a common theme that I've noticed like a lot of finance majors are like kind of robotic but it's because they just want to be professional sounding
Mhm.
um so I don't know for me it looks like marketing majors are a little more free to like be who they are but like
Yeah.
I don't know that could just be like my perspective.
Right. And you've been in the workforce. So do you think the like finance workforce reflects the logical structure, the like interview process of like memorizing stuff? Do you think the workforce still like it carries over, or do you think the workforce is more freeing?
Workforce as in like my work as like a
Yeah.
financial
Yeah.
professional. See, like I don't know if that's necessarily workforce because I wasn't working within a company. I was
Okay.
like my own my own boss basically, which is like you can do that within private wealth management if you wanted to. You can work through a company or you can just go independent. I want the independent route. I'm currently on break right now just to focus on like university stuff and to get corporate experience because I think that would be helpful for like networking and stuff and because I don't really know what I want to do yet.
Mhm.
But and I'm still figuring it out. I mean, I have like my biases and whatever. All right, bring it back. So um yeah, because I've done some work as like a financial professional helping people do retirement planning and stuff like that. I think I was independent. I think I was freer to like act outside of the industry standards
Mhm.
because I was independent. So like I yeah, I think it just depends on, like, what you do, like, if you stay on the corporate route, then you're gonna have to, like, follow these standards and,
Yeah.
um, there's, like, sort of like a hierarchy, like, there's a higher ups, there's a senior executive boards, and there's, like, people that you
Right.
have to, like, give information to and stuff like that. So, like, there's definitely, like, standards for that and, like, deadlines and for that, and whereas, like, what I was doing, there wasn't any deadlines, and it was all very, like, me. I have to,
Mhm.
like, take care of it myself. Um, and like so in that sense I had a lot of freedom with how I wanted to come off to like my clients. So like say I wanted to relate to another family who maybe happens to like hates their job right now and wants to get into something else. Maybe I would just approach them from that angle and be like, hey, I was totally in your position and like I can offer you this side hustle that really helped me and can give you opportunities to give back to the community and blah 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 blah. And so like there's different ways you can go about it
Mhm.
and communication is key with these kinds of jobs and it can go really wrong with that in a lot of different ways. So like it definitely takes a lot of trial and
Mhm.
error.
Yeah, that's fair. So like, do you think the like quote unquote? I was thinking about it. The quote unquote rigidness or like set finance like attire interview and all that stuff. To me, I feel like it reflects a lot of like what the major is about because the major is about like analyzing things and like reaching like more profit and like it's a very analytical major whereas marketing does have that creative side like it literally reflects what people are interested in reflects in what they wear and what they show up
Yeah.
as in an interview. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's probably what it is. It's just like it's more like, wait, what's the side of the brain? Is the left side more logical or is it right side?
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. But whatever side is more logical, I think it kind of like, yeah, reflects like the people that you see around there. And I don't necessarily consider myself just logical. Like I like being creative. And
Mhm.
that's probably why I like private wealth management, just because like I have that freedom to like communicate with people in
Yeah.
different ways. And I like also thought about like making presentations and, adding like, gifts and memes to like help them understand it better. So you can be creative in that sense.
Mhm.
And but like, with those other more technical jobs like a financial analyst or like commercial banking and stuff, you don't really have room to be creative. So I think that like just shows in their personality and their attire. And so maybe that's where it comes from. But
So
I don't know.
that's just kind of like you want to be the best. Can you can you be better than like is there a variety or is it just like people are better than others?
No, I
Or
don't
is
think
there
anyone's better than another. Honestly, I think like everyone has their role. Like, a financial analyst is like an entry level job.
Mhm.
And so like they conduct like a lot of risk analysis and a lot of like do a lot of like strategic planning and stuff like that. So like their job, like they're probably like on the lower tier of people who get paid. And then there's like investment banking, which they're known to like get a lot of pay and like have really high pay.
Mhm.
So like they all their research and stuff goes to them, so that helps them do their job. So like it
Okay.
goes through a bunch of tiers. So
So
like
it's not necessarily like the top guys doing everything. He's
no,
getting
like they
help from the
definitely
lower
work.
guys.
They
Okay.
definitely do work with like everyone else, but and they all help each other really. So it all kind of they all have their
It's
roles.
like a finance team.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Cool. Mhm.
Fun stuff. And
Mhm.
yeah, and yeah, there's just a lot that I don't know. So like I would definitely encourage people to
Yeah.
do research and like I'm learning stuff every day. So
Yeah,
like,
I was actually gonna ask you something like that. Like, what tips you have? Well, we'll start with like college students. Like, what tips you have for people who aren't sure about their major and are looking at finance? Because that was you like a year ago.
true. Honestly, before I was a finance major, I joined a finance organization because it was like, hey, maybe finance could be an option. I don't think so, but maybe. So maybe I should join a finance organization. And honestly, all my information, everything I know has been through organizations
Mm.
that I found on campus. So if you can and you have access to organizations or groups that are like focused on like finance careers, join it. Like you need to like be surrounded by people like that because like that's the only way you'll get like information about like these things that you don't know.
Mhm.
And it's like you can do your own research, but it honestly makes it so much easier to be surrounded by people who all want the same things and to like get information that you wouldn't necessarily think about on your own. Yeah, I didn't know too much about finance before I joined these organizations. So like my understanding of like what careers were involved in finance was just like limited to like, banking and like numbers. And that was all I knew. But like yeah, those organizations definitely would help you figure out what you want to do. And there's a lot of different things that like I didn't realize I needed for like the career path I would might go down. It's like there's like certifications, there's like a Bloomberg marketing concept certification that you would get that industries like to see. There's also like there's something called a CFA, which is like a chartered financial analysis something
Right.
thing, which people would have to like pass that exam to work with like investments and stuff like that. So, and it just depends on like what you want to get into that determines what
Yeah.
types of like certifications you should get. And so there's a lot to it. So if you're interested in any of those
Yeah.
things, let me know. Maybe I can try and break it down.
So do certifications like get you into the like, do you have to have them to get in the job force, or do they just help?
Some of them are required. Some of them, like, you need to, like, there's, like, governmental regulations that you have to know about before you can, like, handle, like, securities and investments. So, like, those are required to, like, become, like, like, a what's it called? A financial advisor that deals with, like, investments. Um, and then there's some of them that just, like, puts you on, like, a priority list because you have
Okay.
it. So some are required, some are just make you look good. So,
Mhm.
I would definitely just use if you are at a university, definitely talk to your professors. They will be great resources to you, and they do know
Yeah.
a lot. And I feel like a lot of people don't use them, but they are very great
Yeah.
resources. Definitely should talk to them.
I know you have or had, I don't know if you still have your certification, but you have a certification. What was your like experience like getting that and then like afterward?
Oh, yeah. So I got a life and health insurance license, basically to enable me to like consult people and help them with like retirement planning and helping them get insurance and stuff like that. So my dad was the one who encouraged me to get it because he was in that field already. And so I think it was freshman year during winter break. That's when I
Mhm.
just cranked out all the studying and took my license the first week of January, which was so hard.
Mhm.
Like if you have time, you can space it out. But like I just wanted to get it over with and I was very stressed. But if you can handle it, go for it. Do it. Like I believe in you. But yeah, so like it was a lot of I went to Barnes and Nobles because we have like a Barnes and Nobles nearby, and I studied like from like 8 a.m. to like 9 p.m. every single day for like a whole month. And then I also took classes. I went to like a class in Peoria. You have to take in-person classes, and they teach you stuff there too. So you have to take like a little
Mhm.
exam thing over there too while they teach you in class. You have to get like a number of credit hours. I also had to take an ethics class and how to like make sure you're doing your job right and not doing anything illegal and stuff like that. So after all of that, I took my license. I think like 2 days, no, yeah, no, 2 days before I had to go back to campus, and you best know I was stressed. Um, it went all right though. I took the exam. They didn't really give me my score. You have to get like a 75% to pass. So like I know I got something above a 75 or a 75. I don't know. But yeah, so it went all right. I got my license and after that I could start working. So then I started like working alongside my dad who was a financial advisor to just work with clients. So I did a lot. I could like technically I could have technically just gone on my own, but I wasn't very confident and I just worked with my dad to like help support him with his clients. So I would like follow up with them, be like, "Hey, do you still want this? Oh,
Sorry.
bless you. Do you still want this product, or do you want to like discuss it further? Do you have any questions, concerns?" And I would like discuss with the clients over that. I would also like call the underwriters who would take care of like the actual products and make sure it gets like delivered and stuff like that. And so like I definitely think it was worth it. I think it's given me so many opportunities and like kind of narrowed down what I want to do with my life just because I did it. And more people had been like I guess like on LinkedIn, I guess when you like make a profile and stuff, like when you have that sort of certification and stuff, more people are like willing to talk to you and stuff like that. So they do something. And yeah, while it was like stressful in the moment, I definitely think it was worth it for me. If you guys want like a more like I don't know comprehensive rundown of that, I can do that at some point, but I feel like that would take a while. So yeah, there's an answer.
um, this is going back sort of to like the tips thing. Do you think you have to like go to undergrad or graduate school to work in finance?
That depends on or what career path in finance you want to go down. Because like what I did as like a financial professional helping people with retirement and stuff, I that wasn't through any university
Right.
institution thing. Like I did that all outside of university, so you don't need to go to university, you don't need any degrees. I know plenty of people who got like degrees in like literature and English who are now financial advisors.
Okay.
So but if you're going to be working like corporate, then you're going to need to go to
Yeah.
university. So it depends on what you want to do. So as soon as you figure that out, then you'll have your answer.
Right. Yeah, that's fair. Okay.
Yeah.
How would you like you kind of just decided that you want to do the personal finance based on like your experience. Is there any other like advice you would give for people who don't know which finance route to go down?
I think I would just go back to my other answer. Like join organizations and groups and figure out what you want to do. Oh, also, it's never too early to start applying for an internship. There are plenty of freshmen who, and because the finance industry is so competitive, they start looking as early as like, freshman and sophomore year
Yeah.
for like students who want to get into a career in finance. So, yeah, I think internships, as like stressful as they can be sometimes, they can really help you narrow down what you like and what you don't like
Mhm.
because you're like literally in the middle of it all and you have to deal with
Yeah, that's true.
transactions and stuff that they do in like in the actual real world workforce sort of thing. So, definitely give it a thought if you are thinking about a certain career path within finance because there are plenty of times when I've like gotten into like internship related things that have to do with finance and like me thinking I might like it and actually doing it, then I'm like, oh, that's not as fun as I thought it'd be, or like
Mhm.
that was a lot more work than I thought it'd be, or it was just not my
Yeah.
cup of tea. So like definitely get as much experience as you can, but like also don't stress yourself out too much, but it also is competitive, so do push yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And you don't really owe anything to the people that you're interning with. Like you don't have to like if they offer you a full-time position, you don't have to take it.
Yeah, that only really applies maybe like your junior year because like sometimes those internships are like a direct pipeline into getting a
Mhm.
job. So like they decide if you're a good fit for the company through the internships. But usually like freshman and sophomore year is just like you figuring
Practice.
out what you want and like yeah, practice and experience. So yeah, usually the more experience you have, the better it looks. And
Are
yeah.
most finance internships paid?
Um I don't know. Uh I think it just depends on the company. I
Okay.
have a friend who is doing an internship right now that's not paid, and she's doing a lot of like really hands-on things within the company. So I have an internship right now that's not really super finance related, but it's paid. So like I think it just depends.
Okay.
Yeah, you definitely have to do some research and looking around for that. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think we might be out of time.
Cool.
Might be. But I hope this was informational and educational. And if
Yeah.
you guys have any more questions, let me know.
Yeah. Fill out that survey in our bio
Yes.
or you do the email thing. I don't know.
Yeah. So if you guys have any questions, comments, or feedback, you can email us at farfromnormalpodcast2020 at gmail.com. We also have an Instagram at farfromnormalpodcast and a Google survey in the Instagram. So you can
Yes.
also send in your thoughts and stuff anonymously. And then, yeah, like and subscribe on YouTube and
Mhm.
leave us comments and also engage with us on Instagram because we love
Yeah.
engaging with you guys and being of service.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
have a Twitter now too. It's
Twitter.
podcast far. And then I'm setting up um just like a PayPal account. So eventually if you wanted to like support us so that we can start looking at merch or we can, get a better mic and stuff like that, please let us know and we can help you help us.
Yeah. We're excited. It's
Yeah.
gonna be great. We have so many ideas. It's
Mhm.
gonna be awesome. But yeah, thank you for tuning in, listening to us
Love you
today, and
guys.
we will see you in the next episode. Bye.